On this show, we follow the money, and when VSiN decided to launch our own store, the smart money was on Shopify. Getting the VSiN store off the ground was easier than we expected, and Shopify's templates and AI tools had us look incredible and professional from day one. Zero coding required. Shopify checkout keeps sales moving smoothly, and returning customers can complete a purchase in one click. Built-in analytics, you always know what's selling and where your customers are coming from and how to keep the momentum going. When questions come up, and they will, Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick is there with answers so you never lose momentum. You can check out the store at vsin.com/store. And if you're ready to build your own, all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/vsin. Shopify.com/vsin. Again, that's shopify.com/vsin.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Doug Kazarian. Paulie Howard is on vacation this week. And we have a 3-hour banger lined up today. Great guests on the program. Mike Palm in studio, an hour and 15 minutes from right now. Matt Vasgersian, who was on the call for the Home Run Derby on Netflix the other night. We'll talk about the second half of the baseball season. Jeff Seeley, the Open Championship gets underway either late tonight out here on the West Coast or early in the morning on the East Coast and beyond. And Matt Youmans on the program today as well. Plenty on the World Cup because the winner of this match obviously will advance to take on a very impressive Spain side from yesterday in Sunday's title game, and we are scoreless at the half right now at DraftKings. I know that this was a very popular bet from people who I talked to and reading more about it. They were on England at about minus 120, 125 to advance. Right now, that number has gone up a little bit. They're minus 130 to advance at DK. Argentina is even money. Are we looking at 0-0 here, Doug? Going to penalties potentially. The draw is plus 125 for the full match.
So that's the thing. Everything's pretty much stayed the same except for the over-unders now 1.5, heavily juiced to the under $1.70 at DraftKings, and then the draw now plus 125. We were told it might be chippy, and that's what we've seen so far. So the question is, because Messi had at least a counterattack. I wouldn't say it was a breakaway, but a counterattack that he ended up drawing a foul and a yellow card for the opponent. But you wonder if those opportunities won't be there for the England defense to bail out, if you will, with a card. So that would be my only apprehension to betting England, because Argentina looked like it could have had some things going, and that's what could be distinctly different in the second half versus the first half.
Yeah, so far, 45 plus minutes in, very chippy, very cagey, nervy. These two sides do not like each other at all. And we've had 19 fouls so far. Yesterday in the match, the full match between France and Spain, we had 23 fouls. For those of you holding over 2.5 yellow cards in this match, we have 2 now at halftime. And the meat man came on Monday and he said, guys, this is the way the match is going to go. They don't like each other. It could get a little bloody out there on the pitch. And he actually gave out a red card at plus 340. I'm not going to be surprised if we get a red card here late in this match, the way it's been going. They're going to have to be careful here. And if one team scores here, maybe like before the hydration break, the other team is going to get to maybe some tactics that are going to be a little unruly.
That was my concern for betting the under. I lean under, but $1.70, you just can't get there because everything opens up after a goal. We saw yesterday, Spain even got a second goal.
Right.
And
could have had a third
France,
one.
Right, when France was pressing forward. With Argentina's volatility, if you will, all tournament, and their knack for scoring late, I just couldn't get involved in the minus 170 on the under. Obviously, Pickford, the goalkeeper, and England's defense is buttoned up compared to who Argentina's had throughout this tournament. And I think that's part of the handicap, right? You liked England. That was the only side I would have played. But Argentina's had a fairly easy path. We see this in March Madness.
Sure.
With how the bracket or region can open up.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Argentina's had. Not that they're not worthy, and they are the defending champ, and they have Messi, but
right.
We really don't know a fair way to evaluate this Argentine squad.
That's all fair. I mean, they have the GOAT, right? And he's been sensational in this World Cup, but also not only the quality of the competition, but how I think their previous 3 matches also unfolded, Doug. Like, it was never easy, and I think they easily could have lost any of them. We're talking going all the way back to that Cape Verde match a couple of Fridays ago. And then beyond that, the path for England has been, I mean, Spain's path, when you go back and look at it, has been just incredible and what they have done. England's path has also been very strong to get to this point. And really, when you compare the two, there is no comparison, really. It's England
Correct.
totally lopsided here with the better teams that they have faced so far in the tournament. And maybe will that play out in the second half? I mean, it could come down to one fluky penalty and Messi gets a PK, and then that totally changes everything.
And that's what happens in the tournament. This is, we know, it's single eliminations, not best of 7, and you're not winning group play anymore. So really all you have to do is be better than your opponent that day. Sometimes you win an ugly rock fight, and then some days you play your best. Like, it would be totally like March Madness for Argentina to escape,
right,
and then play their best. Have a ceiling game where they actually put it all together and they're fresher maybe, although they've obviously had some drawn-out wars in some of these rock fights. But
sure,
it would totally be fine and totally be, par for the course for them to do that for these single elimination tournaments that we have experienced in stateside here, like March Madness.
Okay, so I want to bring a couple of things from the show yesterday that we talked about. As soon as Spain advanced, books posted minus 150 to win the cup. After we've watched the first half between these two teams, how are we feeling about Spain?
See, I think it's a banger for a few reasons. When we do these look-ahead lines,
right,
like, let's go back to Georgia TCU. If TCU had beaten Michigan when they were a big underdog, which happened, what's the advanced line? And you always have to factor in things that could happen, like TCU's power rating going up between the semifinal game and the final game if they look really good. Now, that was more Michigan looking bad and whatnot. With here, you already have Spain advancing. So what if Harry Kane or Messi rolls an ankle or gets hurt in the last 5 minutes of a victory? Then so it can only go up. There's nothing that Spain and Argentina can do that's going to have that Spain money line come down. You could get a double yellow card and have them be out for the next game.
Yeah.
You could have overtime, everything in PKs drawn out, guys exhausted maybe on the quick turnaround for the weekend, although it's not that quick. But you get the point. With Spain already through and healthy, I think if you're an odds maker, you have to juice it higher. And to me, $1.50 here. Now, typically books don't get afraid of minus money bets. They'll just let you fire or whatnot.
Right.
So that's why they always edge on the short side of things, but they being the sharp books. But I think you have to bet Spain. There's so many ways where this can be beneficial with the second half coming up here.
Well, here's the thing. Is there a chance that if England would advance, that they would be so popular because of their backing that they would just books would just get pounded by money from English fans, and they would have to move the number down a little bit?
That doesn't dictate the book.
No, I
sharp
know.
Money does.
Sure, but
right.
Is there a chance that sharp money would be a part of that as well?
They could have looked great. The only thing that would have moved this number if England had a dominating victory 3-0, and they still might, right?
They still could,
If
sure.
Pickford is great, the few opportunities he's faced, the English goalie, and then they just look clean, and then they've been the best team, and obviously they face tougher competition. Maybe that's what moves the needle, right? But that's typically what would do it, and if the power rating adjusts, not the masses, unless it's overwhelming event like the Super Bowl. Now, the World Cup final could be. I don't think that's the case stateside, but that would be something. Just how they look, it would be more important to the guys who actually move the market.
Yeah, because I will tell you that this England club would be the one that would scare me a little bit against Spain overall. I think that they would give them a better, because to me, Spain minus 150 against Argentina is absolutely going to be a big bet. If Argentina, it will be.
It should be before this. I mean, I didn't bet it
because I think that you're right.
Do as I say, not as I do. I didn't bet it, but you're right. There's so much upside to betting it before this match because I don't know what could really, besides England or Argentina, just looking so dominant.
Right, and I don't think that number. And Messi just had a couple. Was that Messi? Might have been. No, it was another player.
And I mean, look, and the scenarios I'm bringing up are unlikely. Messi gets seriously hurt when they're up 2. I mean, obviously that's unlikely too.
Sure. And I think the number would actually go up if Spain does get Argentina here.
Yeah.
I think sharps will be on Spain to win that match.
Absolutely.
There's a clear edge in my opinion, and I am not a sharp at all. Soccer, again, I'm a novice. I love this event, but Spain, to me, just they ran circles around France yesterday.
Well, and it just shows you how off that market was. I mean, France was $1.50.
Yeah, true.
Over Spain. So looking back, does that make much sense when you have the same price here?
Well, I mean,
over
knowing
one
what
of
we
these
know,
teams?
they've allowed one goal the entire tournament.
And the reason you bet Spain now is if the favorite advances, because it's budget. If England advances, it might go to 145 because they budget the money line in between what it would be if in the other semifinal game.
Sure. By the way, vsin.com, the picks page, a lot of people are hoping for goals here quickly. A very popular bet was the yes on the both teams to score at minus 110. That was by a bunch of people. Also, England, money line, Alex Blowers made the case. Adam Zadroik, Paul Carr on England plus 160. That would be in 90 minutes, obviously. A lot of people had England to advance. Jensen Lewis and Drew Dinsick, vsin.com, were the two that I noticed on Argentina to advance in this match. And Chris Vasily, who was on the show with us this week, he not only gave out the under in yesterday's match, which got there, he liked the under 2.5 in this match as well.
Yeah, and he put the video clip on Twitter, tagged us, and somebody just replied yesterday or this morning before the game, of course. LOL. It's like, what are we LOLing? Like, did he say something funny, or are you mocking his under?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Twitter is not real life.
And I think it's been deleted.
Is that right?
Oh, no. It was LMFAO, and it has not been deleted.
Okay. All right. This is also from Alex Blowers, who's done a great job with his write-ups at vsin.com. And he is a fan of England, obviously. He wrote that Jude Bellingham is the best player he's ever seen in an England shirt.
Wow.
And a great shot for the golden ball if you're able to get on it yet. And if they win this match, I wonder where that number is going to go on him.
So the golden boot is up at FanDuel still, but not the other markets we discussed.
What are we looking at right now? Because if Messi doesn't get one here, and if they lose, we're talking about a third-place game between Argentina and France, and those two guys, Mbappe and Messi, would still be tied for the lead in theory.
So right now Messi's $1.30, so we think a second game no matter what, because there is a chance he sits in the third place game, much like Mbappe. Mbappe's the second favorite plus $1.45. And then a huge drop off to Harry Kane at 11-1. And obviously the tiebreaker of assists really come into play when you run out of games left, because then for the tiebreakers have already been decided.
Yeah. Well, if I tell you this, if you have Kane or Bellingham, you need one here in the next 40 minutes. You
Bellingham's
have to.
22-1.
Oh.
This is golden boot.
Golden boot.
Not the ball. So boot is the MVP, right?
Ball is the MVP. Boot most goals.
Yeah,
Yep.
boot is that's why I said the tiebreaker. Right?
Up next, Doug loves attempting the middle games. We'll go over his philosophy coming up. Games to attack before it starts. When to jump in for a middle. Bet sizing. It's all next here on VSiN.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets. On this show, we follow the money, and when VSiN decided to launch our own store, the smart money was on Shopify. Getting the VSiN store off the ground was easier than we expected, and Shopify's templates and AI tools had us look incredible and professional from day one. Zero coding required. Shopify checkout keeps sales moving smoothly, and returning customers can complete a purchase in one click. Built-in analytics, you always know what's selling and where your customers are coming from and how to keep the momentum going. When questions come up, and they will, Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick is there with answers so you never lose momentum. You can check out the store at vsin.com/store. And if you're ready to build your own, all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/vsin. Shopify.com/vsin. Again, that's shopify.com/vsin.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So Doug and I were watching the France-Spain match yesterday here in the Circa Sportsbook in a booth before the match started. And in the booth right behind us, Winner's Circle Proxy Service. They were there. They're there all day long, throughout the entire summer. If you're coming to town, you're looking for a proxy service to get into one of these great contests out here at Circa, I would get in touch with them. And how about this? Winners Circle Proxy and VSiN are giving away 2 incredible prize packages that will put 2 lucky fans in the world's biggest football contest for free. One winner will receive a $1,000 entry into Circa Survivor, and another winner will get a $1,000 entry into Circa Million. Both winners will also receive a full season Winners Circle Proxy service, a VSiN studio tour, and a free month of VSiN Pro. Enter by Sunday, August 2nd. Is that a goal? They're celebrating. Enter by Sunday, August 2nd for your chance to win. Visit winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN to enter today. That's winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN. England in the 55th minute just struck gold. And I did not see, because Winner's Circle here on the mind, it does not appear to be Harry Kane, nor does it appear to be Jude Bellingham.
Correct.
There is Beckham celebrating. Now, will this be legit as well, or are we going to get a 6-minute standoff here?
No, it looks legit.
With VAR. People calling Argentina Vargentina before the match started today. Now, I hope that they don't call him offside.
That was fantastic. That's nowhere close to offside.
I hope not.
So it was a first of it. It was in short of midfield. There was a long pass, sort of a misplay by the Argentina defense.
Oh, what a beautiful
and
assist,
then
Doug.
England controlled the ball and then kicked it out wide and then a cross, but it wasn't a congested cross. There was very few people in the box, and the England striker ran in and one-touched it midair with his inside of his foot.
I've said this on the air before. As I've gotten older, my appreciation for the level of athleticism that it takes to score goals at this level is higher than I think any other feat like in sports. And it used to be, growing up, like watching Sean Kemp in-game dunks.
Right.
I'm like, that will never be topped. Vince Carter in-game dunks, Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, others, whatever. I think the athleticism in some of these goals, they're actually better. I'm more impressed.
I'm not ready to go there. I mean, it's still so impressive. The highlights of soccer might be the best highlights.
Okay.
Just because the sequencing,
yeah.
Everything needs to occur. And it's still tons of agility. So, sidebar, like I played water polo growing up in high school and college. My high school coach was also the USA Olympic coach. So pretty intense program in LA and everything. We were always sort of like, not mocking because we played other sports, but soccer was the one sport we actually respected the fitness level and everything.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, right?
You don't come out, right? It's about, and there's obviously so much ground to cover, and it's sprinting a lot of it.
No, they track these guys with like how long they're moving throughout the entire matches, and it's like miles or kilometers, I guess, multiple kilometers every single match. So, by the way, now at DK, England just like that, minus 475 to advance. Now, here comes Argentina the other way. Oh, good defense. Are they going to call anything on that? No, probably a really good defensive play. They're celebrating for England there. So, on the 3-way, so 90 minutes, England minus 220, the drawback to plus 265. I will ask you here, do you think Messi and his crew get one in?
Well, they've done it all tournament.
And a lot of them late, like you said before.
A lot of them late.
Yep.
I was actually funny you asked because I was looking at the total. This is, first of all, this is why I couldn't do the under $1.5, $70. Now it's 2.5, unders minus 270, and I still can't do it. Because if we get a team pressing forward, like yesterday, it could be England 2-0 and then Argentina gets on the board.
Look at Argentina against Egypt.
270 is outrageous.
Yeah.
Now,
well,
I also wouldn't bet the over either.
How about this? Would you lay $2 over 1.5?
Probably.
That's pretty much the number right now at DK.
Yeah, probably.
Over 1.5. We still have a lot of football here to be played. A lot.
Well, and England just almost had an attack a second ago as well.
You're right. Okay, so this is Mike Palm's going to be on in about an hour as well. He loves to go for middling opportunities. You are the person I know who likes doing it more than anybody else, right? Explain your overall philosophy, and I have a bunch of questions on it, but go ahead. I'll let you take the floor first.
All right, good. So I won't do long-winded then. So basically it starts with this. Every sport's different, right? So basically sometimes we talk about betting first quarter of this team, first half, or first to 20, because if you think one team's off a loss and they want to start out. This is just another version of that. You don't cut off the quarter line. Basically, all you're saying, and I've always said this, the closing line of a game is just the first timeout. Every timeout or every juncture of a game, you can continuously bet in game. So I always get a kick out of it for the 2 weeks up to the Super Bowl. We talk forever. Difference between 2.5 and then within like a first down, the line's changing.
Sure.
Right. Okay. With that being said, I think it's really important to understand how every sport's different, and college and pro as well. So in college, a team can get up and then never look back. NFL, there tends to be some funneling back closer to even, right? And because coaches get conservative, they're up a lot. Basketball, especially the NBA, game of runs. So instead of complaining about all these things that tend to happen, I just lean into them. And I think with the NBA particularly, and WNBA now, I just like to set up middles and stuff like that. Because if you think about it, and this is where I really realized it, the last, I don't know, let's call it 5% of every sport is so random. I mean, that's why bad beats exist, right?
Sure.
So in hockey, you get goalies pulled, and then other teams either getting empty netters. In football, you get prevent defense, you get prevent offense, you get things along those lines. In basketball, you get the chucking of the threes, you get fouling. So sitting there with minus 110 at the end of these games in all these sports really can get aggravating and take years off your life. So I'd rather have a middle where I'm creating sort of a 20-1 band, right? A team to win by 5, 6, 7, or 8, or something like that. And the bands are usually, for that strike price or whatever, is usually like 3-1.
Sure.
So if you can absorb some risk and get 20-1, I'll explain in a sec how, I'd rather have 20-1 at the end of the game with all these nonsense of fouling instead of minus 110.
Okay, so let's say that you're on a dog in a basketball game, right? Could be NBA or WNBA. And you have determined before the game starts that this is the dog that I want. I'm going to attack it, and I'm going to try to get a middle. And you take a dog, let's say it's plus 9.5, right? And you have a pretty nice bet on that angle. And you expect a dog to get off to a big start. Situation calls for it. The dog gets out to what size lead are we talking about before you're like, okay, now's my time to pounce. I need to bet the favorite to create this middle opportunity.
So it all depends
Sure.
on the particular angle. Why do you like the dog? Are they deeper? If they're deeper, you kind of want to lead into that second quarter being your time to make that's where your value is. If the second unit, because if you understand substitution patterns, that's the most important in the NBA. Jokic going to the bench, these guys that have huge impact on the point spread, because the algorithms that determine these in-game weight do not take into account who's on the floor. They just don't. They take into account the closing line, the current score, and how much time is left. So if a 10-point favorite is tied in the first quarter, it's probably going to be like 9,
Sure.
9.5.
There's
right?
not going to be that big of an
If
adjustment
it's
at that
tied
point.
in the fourth quarter,
Right, yes.
with halfway through, it'll be like 3, 2.5, right, in the NBA. So it all depends. It's not like, well, Jokic has 5 fouls and he's on the bench. No. So if you understand Jokic, Giannis with Milwaukee, that is, when the drop off to that second best player, you know it's huge. That's where you can, in theory, get huge line value. So that's part of it. But in terms of the original handicap, a lot of that depends if it's a high scoring game, right? Now in the NBA, everything's high scoring, so that's another thing. But I would also say throughout the game, you could also change your opinion
Sure.
based on how the game is going, because you're really making micro decisions all throughout the game.
And somebody might be in foul trouble.
Right.
Whatever the story might
any
be.
live wagering event, anything, even a futures market, you're really just betting the short term. Because if you're saying, ooh, should I lay 5? You're only betting the next few minutes.
Right.
Meaning, is -5 the best number I'm going to get? We're talking about the futures. Whatever, MVP, whatever. You're betting like the next few days. Because it's obviously impossible to get the absolute nut number every single game, but that's what you're challenging yourself. Is this the best? What's going to happen in the short term? That's what you're assessing in all of this.
So when you have a pregame position, and again, it's a sizable bet we're talking about here, how much of that original bet do you decide to say, well, how do you make that determination?
You handicap. If you think the box score is suggesting the team you bet on is going to make a run or not, or they're playing too well, or a star's in foul trouble, it's basically like pattern behavior that they do in psychology experiments or whatever.
Sure.
That's what you're essentially assessing. And it's all sort of gut. Like today, I had a huge position second half, like max bet on the Lynx second half at halftime. They were down 2. They were 0-11 from downtown. Way better team, way better coach. The Sparks are on the road. It's one of those things. And it was great. It was looking good. And then Olivia Miles, the star point guard, rolls her anchor, goes out. And it was midway through the fourth, and they were covering. And it was like up 7. It was right on the number, and I just aborted.
Sure.
I said, I wouldn't make this bet at halftime.
That's another thing,
if
too.
If she had rolled her ankle,
right.
we're right on the number. Then
Yeah,
you're in theory just gambling, right? You're gambling the last 6 minutes of the game 5 minutes with the star player out and everything.
Yep. So my biggest, and certainly I've gone for, try to do this as well, but not as much as you. My biggest problem is if it looks like I have the nuts on a game, I'm like, I don't want to potentially give away this money.
That is a fair thing. So you can also chop it up. You can do half of it back or whatever.
Right.
But I'll explain in a sec. I know we're up against clock,
Yeah.
but I have one good rule of thumb for that. I do.
Okay. I can't wait to hear that coming up next. And we'll get into the Open Championship as more bets have been added to the old portfolio next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Man, 69th minute here in Atlanta, and it's still 1-0 England. Argentina just had a beautiful opportunity, but what a save by Pickford. So that remains the score. By the way, like the numbers to advance at DK, they've been coming down, going up, moving like a roller coaster. England was just like minus 360. They're back to minus 450. And the total over 1.5 was about 214, now down to 188. Argentina has had, it's been very aggressive in the offensive end. Let me say that here, since England scored that one goal. I think we're going to get another one here.
I do too. I would play that. I'd play over $1.
And right now, again, shop around down to $1.78 right now at DK. I think we're getting one more.
Yeah, I just think at some point, Argentina's going to have to sell out, and they'll leave themselves vulnerable on the back end. And these teams know how to score their version of the empty netter.
Yep. So if you had under 2.5 right now, before the match started, do you think that you would have played over 1.5 before England scored?
So you're plus money, right, or you're minus money on under 2.5.
You're plus money over 2.5 right now.
I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, going back to the conversation about middling games.
Because I think if it goes to 1-1, I think both teams ultimately play conservatively. It's the England scoring next would be concerning when it's 2-0.
Oh, yes.
So therefore, you could bet sometimes, and you're basically putting a portfolio together. This is what derivative traders do on Wall Street. They create contracts. They basically create their own props that are not offered right now. So that's what they do with middling. Yep. I use the term bands. So in this case, maybe, it depends how much I have. But otherwise, you can't get antsy because there's games you lose from the start. And there's no hedging those. So you have to just sweat out some potential wins too.
Sure.
But unless you could also look at it in a vacuum. Do I like England to score next? I mean, this is part of the equation. You have to be handicapping in the moment as well.
And we were talking about middling games, how much you like to do this overall throughout the entire year in the previous segment, and like the bet sizing thing. To me, I said that was my biggest issue, has been for a long time, because it's like, and look, I get off games all the time. Like I'm uncomfortable with how much money I have on one side, and I'm just gonna like get my money back right now.
That's
basically,
okay.
Right? No, sure. I mean, but the part that I am not comfortable with is, again, if it looks like I'm on the right side here, right? And let's say I have a team in the NFL minus 2.5. I loved them, and they're winning by like 17. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to hedge right now in the third quarter because I don't want to give that money away because the bet looks so good right now.
Right. Let's say, same example, up 17 in the fourth. Let's say you're plus 7. Like that's a winner. Like, you have to look at the next bet as a separate wager.
As a totally different bet.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in your case,
that's the key, I think.
That's the key for that. Now, in this scenario, you can also do alt lines and what's called a scalp. Basically, just so there's no risk and you just take the guaranteed win. Because let's say you take plus 2.5 on the money line because you don't want to do plus 2.5 and reverse middle yourself. Because if they go for 2 and win by 1, whatever. So you can do an alt line during in game and just take plus 400 or whatever it is, and then still leave some of your bet at minus 2.5 exposed, if you will. But at least you locked in a profit. So there's ways you can trim and create new sort of math on your original minus 2.5. But either way, if you have a wager, you have to also be just comfortable with sweating it out. Now, if a guy's hurt or the defense looks like they're giving up or whatever, there's certain ways to do it. I just think you got to be careful at times of giving away a good position. I certainly know the feeling of giving away a winning bet and saying, wait, I lost my juice. I actually lost money on this game, and I had the winner wire to wire.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that you don't want to.
So if you go into a bet thinking, see, the key for me is sometimes, and it's unusual circumstances, but I'll love a side because I think they're motivated. It's the situational spot. Or the number one bet in all of sports, Pro Bettor told me this about 20 years ago, focused favorite. That's the number one bet you want. you have a favorite and they're really focused, like
And
a really
you
good
know
team.
that they're going to be on a mission.
I think, was it last season or a couple years ago where the Niners went to Jacksonville and they were off like 3 straight losses.
Okay, I remember
and
the game.
off a bye or
Yep.
something. It was like,
Yep.
you basically have to tell yourself, is there a world where this team gets blown out wire to wire? And maybe they have dysfunction and all that. You got to be really careful early in the season because our opinions of teams may be completely wrong.
Sure.
But later in the season, you just think it's a great spot. They're going to come out fired up and basically saying the in-game line will always give me a shot to get aboard. So I will overextend my bet. I got to use dollar figures, much easier than X and units or whatever. Let's say you're a $10 bettor and you want to overextend yourself and bet 100. Okay, you run 10 times you normally do. And then at the end of the game, you're like, should I hedge? Whatever. You just have to play the middle because you went into it. The only reason you have that large amount was the intention of middling. So even if you give away a position because you played a middle and it didn't work out, you can't beat yourself up because the whole point of betting in this example, 100, not 10,
Right.
was because the plan all along was to set up a middle. And we'll do some quick math. If you're $100, let's say and it's minus 110 both sides. And let's say you lay 110 to win 100 at minus 2.5, and you play 110 to win 100 at plus 6.5. The worst that can happen is $10 loss, right? Can't lose both. Minus 2.5 plus 6.5. The best that can happen is you win 200. Now, there's no flat line. It wasn't 6, it wasn't 2, it was just halves. So you're basically creating your own band. 10 to win 200. So that's 20 to 1. You created your own 20 to 1 prop during the game by absorbing risk, handicapping it initially, and now you have 20 to 1 that the favorite wins by 3, 4, 5, or 6.
It's a good way to look at it.
That's how you do it. And that's what, again, I have friends who went to college with me. They're on Wall Street. This is what derivative trading is. They've listened. I had one buddy who's listened to me on a speakerphone with my betting partner, and he's like, you basically do what I do. I'm like, yeah. I mean, this is Eddie Murphy in Trading Places said, sounds to me like you're a couple of bookies when he was talking to Randolph and Mortimer.
Oh, what an opportunity by Argentina, goes off the post on a header. That would have been the equalizer right there in the 76th minute.
So a band going before the game of a 2.5 point favorite to win by 3, 4, 5, or 6 would be like plus 240.
Sure, that's never going to be close to 20 to
20
1.
to 1. Now you have to absorb risk, things like that, but you might even get plus 9.5 if a team storms out 7-0. It all depends. You're basically so that's why I said earlier it's like handicapping. You're basically essentially making a first quarter, first half bet without doing first quarter, first half. You couldn't cash it, but also you give yourself some wiggle room,
right?
Because they could be down at half and you're still live to get out of that minus 2.5, right? If they're down 3.5 or something.
And you also cannot have any distractions. You got to be dialed into that game from the second that it starts until the minute that you want to get off your bet or try to go for a middle as well. You probably won't remember this.
It's a thinking man's game. That's what this is.
You text me, this is randomly a couple of years ago. I don't even know if you're going to remember this. But you said that if there was a USC football game, and you said if this lands between, I think the numbers were like, if it lands between like 47 and 51, I'm buying a new car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you can get over-unders late in the game, and this is where I really started to learn this, is some of the variance late in games, especially if there's a backup quarterback and they're up 30 midway through the fourth.
For sure.
Every book's going to have different numbers, and that's where you can play it. And remember, earlier I said every sport's different. Football is great for that because the difference between 6.5 and 7.5, it's a second score, right?
Yeah.
Let's say it's let's say it's 30-0, and the over/under is 37.5 at one book, and another book's 36.5. Well, maybe the team trailing is going to go for 2, the team leading won't, and there's like 6 minutes to go. One book has 2 scores, the other one has 1, and this happens a lot in MACtion at the end. Sometimes they go for 2, but you're basically betting, and then the juice won't be right on the under 37.5. Mm-hmm. It'll be like minus 160, and the other one will be like minus 110 on the over 36.5. And you can create a prop where you bet both sides and do that. And if you have enough outs, and you can create sort of your own contract, we're saying, I think you basically do the math, and it's like I got 7 to 1 on one of these teams to score exactly 7 points the rest of the game.
Yeah, I can tell you this weekend, I will not be, and I'll get into my bets for the Open Championship coming up. I will not be going for a hedge opportunity because I don't have enough on a guy to win it outright. I've been in this spot a couple of years ago in Bryson DeChambeau, looking ahead, had him like 45 to 1 to win the U.S. Open, and he led pretty much wire to wire, but it looked like he was going to maybe give it away to Rory in the final day. And I'm like, I got to hop in here a little bit on Rory because I got to secure some money.
And that's the beauty of yes, no's, right?
But hedging or trying to lock something in golf is maybe the trickiest sport for me to do it, because you have to separate. You have to have like your guy that you're on, and then basically have it down to one other guy, and they're like 4 shots ahead of the pack. And it's got to be late. Otherwise, it's like, I don't know, 6 guys can still win this thing.
And you have to remind yourself going in, like, I only have X amount on a plus 900
right.
or something. You're not really exposed. So you can't get too cute and all of a sudden turn a potential nice win into like, oh my God, I'm like minus 900 on these 4 guys. And then was one random earlier in the days in the clubhouse with the lead or something like that.
Sure. So this match now, 79th minute, Argentina had another good opportunity, but they did not score. 1-0 England. And obviously it's July 15th today. It's been an incredible summer of betting. No shortage of betting opportunities at all. That's why it's the perfect time to lock in VSiN's football special. It's only $175. You're going to get full VSiN Pro access until the Super Bowl, including our brand new 2026-2027 NFL betting guide to help you with futures, win totals, division races, and the entire upcoming season. Plus, you're going to get daily best bets, real-time betting splits from DK and Circa, AI-powered prop projections, 24/7 video, and the VSiN Watch app. Here's what you do. Go to vsin.com/subscribe now. That's vsin.com/subscribe. We'll keep you updated with this unbelievable match going on right now. The winner will get Spain for the whole thing and give you my Open Championship bets coming up next.
On this show, we follow the money, and when VSiN decided to launch our own store, the smart money was on Shopify. Getting the VSiN store off the ground was easier than we expected, and Shopify's templates and AI tools had us look incredible and professional from day one. 0 coding required. Shopify checkout keeps sales moving smoothly, and returning customers can complete a purchase in 1 click. Built-in analytics, you always know what's selling and where your customers are coming from and how to keep the momentum going. When questions come up, and they will, Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick is there with answers so you never lose momentum. You can check out the store at vsin.com/store. And if you're ready to build your own, all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/vsin, shopify.com/vsin. Again, that's shopify.com/vsin.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The sports calendar never stops, and the Sharp Plays covers it all. And they've been winning for 15 straight years. All of it documented, logs posted publicly at sharpplays.com. That kind of transparency is rare in this industry. When the Sharp Plays moves, these sports books take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel, they find the value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, feared. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com.
So during the break, I played over 1.5 goals minus 112. It's England 1, Argentina. Well, it's 1-0, 85th minute right now. DK has been going back and forth. By the way, the DK, I'm on their desktop, their website. They're about a full minute ahead of our TV feed here. So they just had plus 119 on over. Now they're at minus 101, and there's another opportunity that goes over the net that time for Argentina. And I'm betting this based on a couple of things, one of which would be, as we've been talking now in the final 20 minutes of this match, it seemed, that's a save by Pickford. Wow. I wonder what his number is going to be on the Golden Glove after this match, because he's been awesome. But Argentina, they've had so many whacks at it here that I'm going to be a little bit surprised if they don't get one in and tie it up. Another chance. There it is. There it is.
Wow. Right on cue. And as soon as he let it go, I'm thinking, how's he going to miss this? Because they were a minute ahead of us, DraftKings, but I didn't have the page up. So that was beautiful.
So that gets in. That was not an easy goal. That was a very difficult goal for him. And that was Hernandez who scored that. And he was out a little bit on the pitch there. And now we're knotted up at 1 apiece. And I'm telling you, since England scored early here in the second half, it has been all Argentina. But that's the way it goes, right? That was like the prevent defense. That's England trying to park the bus and have nothing. Just it's all defense, right?
And what I was about to say as you said, I'd be very surprised if Argentina doesn't score, and sure enough, the ball finds the onion bag. But the key here, and I was just about to say, this feels very different than France yesterday. France wasn't really threatening the entire second half.
I totally agree.
And Argentina was. Not that it was guaranteed to score, but they had sort of solved England's defense to a certain extent to at least give them opportunities.
And now, because of that goal, at DraftKings, Argentina has moved to $1.30 favorite to advance. England is even money. The draw now goes to minus 275 here. We are in the 87th minute overall.
So Argentina's favored because they looked better the second half?
I guess.
But there's a reason for that.
Sure, yeah.
Now, I don't know soccer well enough to fire, but can England flip the switch all of a sudden? Go from parking the bus to saying, all right, guys, let's go back to what we were doing. I don't think it's that easy, right? Especially the emotional toll. Now, these guys have been in big games their whole life. They haven't led in every game they've been in.
Right.
But, or, you know, just it's got to be hard to be close to a win. They weren't that close. They're still about 10 minutes away with stoppage time. But there is an element of, I don't know, emotional despair.
Yeah, I think a little bit. Sure.
Amateur psychologist here.
Sure. This is like, let's say you've been leading a college basketball game the entire way, and a team chips away at a 17-point deficit, and they hit a three at the buzzer to force overtime. How you feeling going into overtime and you blow that lead?
We've bet them, right? I think Iowa had that game, that similar of a game this past year, or maybe the year before. And it was over before it started in overtime.
Yeah, that changes things, man, because...
So well done on your over 1.5. You laid much better juice. And that was like the apex, right?
I waited. I waited and waited and waited. I thought even like I brought it up. I thought $1.88 was good, but I'm like, let me just wait here until there's a more comfortable time to hop in. And it came all the way down to that minus 12 cents. So I'll take it.
And that goes back to our live wagering discussion. I liked 180. I thought it was good. I was basically saying I could see a goal imminently, right? Because if you don't, then waiting, hold, Braveheart, the whole thing where you hold forever. And then you can stick the landing. But sometimes you can get too cute. Much like I was describing scenarios where you expect one team to not get blown out in wire to wire. In those scenarios I was talking about, just to finish that thought, you can't be afraid of eating juice. Like you're taking a shot, you're trying to basically create this huge payout. You have to not get greedy. You have to respect the volatility that is sports. There's nothing guaranteed. So you have to just be very careful.
So I'll give the entire audience, I'll pull back the curtain right now. As I'm watching this game on the screen with you, Doug, we are at it says 88 minutes, 25 seconds on the screen, right? DK on the website is at 89.25. They're a full minute ahead of us. And it just said again, Argentina attacking.
Okay, because the goalies or defenders knocked out. I think we're going to have an injury like 5 minutes here. I think this guy's whacked.
And in fact, right after that, it turned into injured player.
Yeah, okay.
89th minute, and it is a player for England.
So it's a level playing field with us in the books.
Right now, yes. But I'll try to give you the play-by-play here of what they're telling me on the website as soon as this guy gets healthy again, gets on his feet, and if they can walk off the pitch. That's the goal, man. That is, I got to tell you, I really wanted England to win this match based on other tickets that I have. The Bellingham Golden Ball winner being one of them. That's an impressive goal, man.
It's impressive,
that is super impressive.
I think he should have had it.
Pickford.
It wasn't a cobweb corner shot like the Cape Verde tie equalizer at 2-2.
Well, that's the goal of the tournament,
perfect.
maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This was lower, like mid-goal, if you will.
Yeah.
And it came from outside the box from the corner. I think he probably should have had it, or at least poked it out. It was great. I mean, again, I can't tell how fast it was. If it was fast, that's the pace of the ball, obviously,
I will say one thing.
It was great placement, because I always get mad when they don't put them on goal. You got to put it on goal. Make these guys make the save.
Here's what we really, I don't think, as people who have never played at this level, have an appreciation for. Yes, they can tell us how fast the soccer ball is moving at that time, but do we really have any idea what that's like if you're playing goalie? We have absolutely no clue.
Well, the reason I always complain that they don't put it on net is because they have to guard the strong side too.
Sure.
They have to cover both sides. It's a huge goal. And the pace, my biggest complaint also is, I forget which game it was recent, but when there's a ball coming at the goalie and he gets both hands on it and his chest and it squirts out.
Oh, yeah.
And then the garbage, right? The rebound.
That happened recently in the match, actually, yeah.
I can't remember. Now, clearly I see it enough where it's obviously got to be hard for the goalies, because if it only happened once, then it's a misplay by the goalie. But if it happens enough, which it does, and the balls are knuckling, I get it. But one guy was explaining it. I forget if it was Zlatan or something, but it was something about the weather. And then the guy it was almost like the Amon Green thing, which is he didn't have sleeves on in the heat.
Yeah.
He had his skin, so the ball was slippery.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
yeah.
the famous John Madden with Amon Green. So that's the ball security on the shot. When you can get both hands on it, I just feel a little shortchanged if I'm rooting for that team where the goalie had it and it scored it out and it was kind of a fluky goal.
9 minutes of stoppage time right now. 9. If tied, obviously after regulation, 2 15-minute extra periods.
I don't see draw up right now. I mean, it would be minus like 900, but
Yeah, they just,
they just hit the post.
there's an opportunity by Argentina
Yeah.
again.
You can't have it too high
Wow.
because then each side would have to be a lot.
I will tell you again.
Argentina looks like there you go.
Is that it? You got to be kidding me.
That's why I don't see a three-way line.
You got to be kidding me. 2 goals late again from Argentina. That goes over. They're going to advance. They're going to win on the money line. Unbleepin' believable.
I was just about to ask you, do you believe in momentum? Because obviously that's why Argentina was favored. They had scored. They were threatening
Sure.
England, like you talked about. If you're up 17, go to overtime in an NBA game. Like they had to be a little crushed at that point.
And I will say, like, again, the way that it's described watching DK in real time, the entire last couple of minutes kept saying Argentina dangerous attack.
Okay.
Dangerous,
dangerous attack. Oh, I
Dangerous,
like
not
that.
just attacking, but dangerous attack. And again, here on the dangerous attack, they popped it yet again. Off the post, ricochets right back. Ooh,
They set it up again, and then
Yeah.
a beautiful cross.
they had a chance to reset. Yeah, you're right. Crosser into the box here. And the man was unmarked.
Well, it also went over the guy in front of him, and then just the arc of that pass. See, that's the stuff that's perfect. Is when they're on the break, they throw up, they kick it out wide, and the pace of the ball is perfect that it goes through, so the defenders nearby can't get it, and then it sort of slows down and it's right in stride with the guy on the wing. And then these cross shots for that arc to be over the defenders, but also be coming down at the perfect height of a guy who's not Holland, right? Just towering over everyone. That is so impressive.
Wow, hold on a second here because we might get another one.
Well, I was going to say, are you willing to fire on England here to answer?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's DK's updating. That was a goal. That's the second goal there, not a third goal.
Okay.
Because they just, for a second, they moved England to 75-1 to win the match.
Oh, so that's why I went in 3-1.
And the draw is now plus
We have,
550.
they're a minute ahead. So 5 minutes to go with the stoppage time.
Right. I really want to hear from England.
I bet you do. But this is the total. This is why I was saying you can't bet under 2.5.
That's exactly right.
Now, this was different because it went 1-1, and I thought at that point both teams would park the bus.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Just to play conservatively, but that's not what happened. So either way, I did not want to go under 2.5.
Yeah, well, I hope we get extra time for the sake of the show as well.
That's true.
And that'd be fun to talk about. Also, my immediate reaction is I can't wait to see what the Spain number is going to be against Argentina.
Well,
If
I think Argentina
hangs
looks
on
pretty
here,
good lately, though.
that is not going to translate against
Yeah.
Spain.
$1.75.
If it's $1.50 still in that range when it opens up, if this match is over with, we'll see. It's Follow the Money
They
here
have
on
the numbers
VSiN,
up.
the Sports Betting Network. We have the final 5 minutes here. Can England equalize? We'll find out coming up next on VSiN.